Get started with the ceremony.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and honored guests. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Gary J. Osmond, Commander 280th Special Operations Communications Squadron, I welcome all those in attendance by honoring the career and service of Chief Master Sergeant Randy O. Green. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and invocation.
At ease. The technical difficulty, sir, we'll move right on. Y'all take it, please, sir. We don't have speakers. Sorry, apologize for that. his years of service, his friendship, his mentorship, his leadership, and all that he's poured out into the 280, all his sacrifices that he made personally, all the tasks that he's performed, sacrifices that his family's made. We pray that you bless them and you multiply that back to him. And we thank you, Lord God, for him, and we pray for his future, that the things he put his hands to do in the future, that they be blessed, that they be prosperous. We thank you for his service, Lord God. Continue to watch over him as he leaves us here, realizing that he'll never leave our thoughts. And we love you, Lord God, and we thank you for being able to celebrate this day with him. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for the presentation of the award citation. Attention to order. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by the Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 2nd Oblique Cluster, to Chief Master Sergeant Randy O. Green for meritorious service 2 July 2017 to 5 April 2021. Chief Master Sergeant Randy O. Green distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Senior Enlisted Leader, 280th Special Operations Communications Squadron from 2 July 2017 to 5 April 2021. In this crucial assignment, Chief Green proved to be a consummate leader and served as a driving force behind efforts that secured the 280th as an example of morale and effectiveness. He used unmatched foresight and expertise to spearhead the improvement of squadron deployment strategies, resulting in significant improvements to the efficacy and accuracy of critical processes. Furthermore, Chief Green spearheaded a squadron initiative that optimized manpower and distribution, leading to an increase of more than 20% of the squadron's ability to meet contingency requirements. He envisioned and directed the planning of 12 large-scale communication exercises, ensuring highly effective training for more than 400 special operations communicators from 6 organizations on 8 tactical communication systems. Finally, Chief Green's tireless efforts ensured the successful deployment of more than 120 communicators in support of critical Air Force Special Operations Command activities in 3 high-intensity theaters. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Chief Green culminate a long and distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself, the Air National Guard, and the United States Air Force, given under my hand 9 January 2021, Colonel Troy C. Morgan, 226 Combat Comm Group.
At ease.
Please be seated. We are honored to have in attendance today special and distinguished guests. Colonel Eric Good, 1st Air Force A6, former 280th Squadron Commander. Colonel Troy Morgan, 226 Combat Comm Group Commander. Lieutenant Colonel Brian Scott McNaughton, 226 Combat Comm Deputy Commander, former 280th Squadron Commander. Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Tritz, 232nd Combat Comm Squadron Commander. Lieutenant Colonel Jared Berger, 290th Joint Comm Support Squadron Commander. Chief Master Sergeant Bernadette Hollinger, Alabama A&G Command Chief. Chief Master Sergeant Glenda Chambliss Reddick, Alabama A&G Command Chief, retired.
Y'all for time.
Yep, thank you.
At this time, we would like to recognize Chief Master Sergeant Green's family members here with us today and to honor the sacrifices that they have endured in support of his nearly 41 years of dedicated service. Wife Sharon. Mother Carolyn. Sister Angela. And Brother Chris and his wife Buffy. Ms. Sharon Green, please join the commander to receive a certificate of appreciation from the United States Air Force and a small token of the unit's appreciation.
So
This is a certificate of appreciation from the Air Force, and we always thank everybody for what they do, especially our family members. It reads, in grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Sharon Green for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impact to the nation's defense. Thank you for the support, which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Given this day, 5th day of April of the year 2021, David Goldstein, Chief of Staff. Also a Key Spouse certificate. So we have a program called Key Spouse where a spouse, one of the members, comes to our unit and helps keep the unit afloat as people deploy, helps give guidance to other spouses in need, and just overall we couldn't do the mission without the Key Spouses. So in recognition of our former Key Spouse, we have a Key Spouse coin. And this certificate of appreciation, I'll read it really quick. In recognition of your service in the 280th Special Operations Communications Squadron Key Spouse Program, as a Key Spouse, you have been a critical link between unit leadership and families of a geographically separated unit in the Alabama Air National Guard. Through your exemplary efforts, you have increased readiness, enhanced resiliency, improved quality of life for our airmen and families, and directly contributed in our ability to accomplish the mission. Just a quick word about families. I want to thank the family for letting us have Chief Green for 40 years, 8 months, and 3 days. But he has that memorized, right? But we literally, when it talks about our nation needs you, our nation does. Without your support, there's no way that Chief Green could not have committed 40 years, 8 months, and 3 days to defending this country. We need patriots, and we need families of patriots who are also patriots to be there in support. So I just want to thank you for your support for these 40 some odd years, and we certainly appreciate it.
Chief Green, please join Commander. Chief Green received certificates of appreciation from the following living United States presidents under which he has served: President William Clinton, President George W. Bush, President Barack Obama, and President Donald Trump. He will be presented with a certificate of appreciation from President Jimmy Carter. To Chief Master Sergeant Randy Green, congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. Rosalind and I are pleased to join your family, friends, and colleagues in recognizing your more than 40 years of service to the Alabama Air National Guard. Please accept our warm best regards for happiness on this special day and in the years ahead. Sincerely, Jimmy Carter. The letter of appreciation from Governor Kay Ivey will be presented. Governor Kay Ivey, State of Alabama, has presented the certificate of appreciation to Chief Master Sergeant Randy O'Neill Green. This certificate is presented in honor of your retirement for 40 years of service in the Alabama National Guard, effective 5 April 2021. Congratulations on your retirement, and thank you for your honorable service to our country, given under my hand and the great seal of the office of the Governor of the State of the Capital and City of Alabama on the 10th day of April 2021. Kay Ivey, Governor.
Okay, Chief. I'm gonna be up here for a while.
The 280th Top 3 President, Master Sergeant Brian Tabb, will make a presentation of the retirement shadow box.
You want to pick it up, or you just want to point to it? Size of it.
I wrote a few words.
I'm gonna help you over it. Or he can help you over it.
Single biggest benefit of being a president of the top 3 is doing stuff like this. And this is just a small token of our appreciation for 40 years, 8 months, and 3 days. Randy means a lot to me, I know personally. I know he means a lot to everybody in this room, especially those who have come back. Chief Fowler, I see you. Mr. Williams, I see you, sir. Chief Chandler, thank you all for coming. Thank you for support. Appreciate you.
Chief Corey Smith, representing the 280th Chiefs, will make a presentation.
It's kind of hard to put into words what Chief Randy's been doing, because he's done so much. He's probably touched every person in this room. He was vital to the 280th deployments and morale, welfare. One thing I learned from him was patience. Sometimes growing up as a leader, I get up here a little bit. I go to his office, and he bring me back down to earth. So I learned patience, and he's been a great mentor. I can go on for an hour, but I know we got a lot of presentations. But I appreciate everything you did, and I had this made. It's an appreciation for years of dedication and commitment from August 1st, August 1980 to 5 April 2021. It's a chief head engraved in the book. We appreciate you.
When it's allergy season, so I got watery eyes, whatever, it's just what happens. This is on behalf of Robbie. Let me read this. The Rudius, Latin, is a ceremony surrounding the branding of the Rudius. It's a rightly elaborate and public. It would go to the center of the arena for the gladiator. And the gladiator would fight either through so many battles or through great honor in the battlefield. Randy doesn't have just 40 years. It's not the beginning date, end date's important. It's what's in the middle. That's 14,857 days for the 280th and the members of the 280th. When the gladiator was victorious in battle, he'd be given Radius. This is it. And he'd be allowed to go free in his life in his world.
Chief Gregory Scott.
Don't know how I'm going to follow that one up there. Yeah, it's true, actually. Randy's always brought people together, and somebody earlier said, Jenny was talking about how much she brought people together today, even. I'm going to grab this thing. This isn't for an organization, but it is for kind of representing a lot of people, I believe. This is something, Melody, I wanted to get you. You've always been behind the scenes on everything, and there was something that you could count on with Randy, and that was consistency in supporting the mission, steadfastness in supporting the unit, and then the main thing was the loyalty to the people. And that's something you've always had. He's always been quiet. You could be talking to him about a plan, and he'd look at you, and he'd be going, He'd go, and you knew you'd say, back up a little bit. He'd go, well, maybe I should do it a different way. Anyway, he always had great ideas, but he was always willing to work with the team to make it all happen. He could have done it on his own, but Well, maybe he couldn't. But anyway, no. he was awesome as a friend and as a colleague. I've known him as the Rogue because he had a mischievous part about him back years ago. It's just, I'm one of the more recent people that got in the 280th. April '84 when I came in, and I think Major Scott was Melody was pregnant with Major Scott when we first met. But it's been a little while. But I've known you as Rogue. I've known you as Ninja because you get something going, you look around looking for Randy, and he's gone. You don't know where you went. He gets something to do at another place. And then Melody used to call him Peter Pan because he never changed. That consistency, that behind the scenes thing. We wanted to finally make you come out from behind that. And I don't know if you see the plastic. Anyway, get you a poster of your time frame at the 280. So it seemed fitting that you should be in lights and up in a poster on the wall.
Lieutenant Colonel Scott McNaughton.
I got a quick story for y'all. You'll think it doesn't relate. Great group of faces to see here. But bear with me, I'm going to bring this thing back around. Years ago, before I came to the 280th, when I still lived in Greenville, which I'm back in Greenville now, of course, my oldest daughter, who gets married next month on May 8th, she was about 8 or 9 years old. So life, we had a younger daughter that was 4 years younger, so life's real busy. Many of y'all have children, you know how that is, and the weeks are just hectic, and so on weekends, it was recovery time for my wife and I. So one Saturday morning, we're recovering, and so we're going around picking up the house stuff, and not really cleaning it. You got to pick it up before you can clean it, but we're getting everything picked up, and there's all these shoes that I keep getting. I find shoes in the back door, I find some shoes in the kitchen, I find shoes in the bathroom, in the living room. So I gather up these shoes, and they're all my older daughter's shoes. And I go to her closet, and I meet my wife there, and she's got an arm full of shoes. And I look at her, and I'm thinking, she's only got 2 feet. And I look at my wife, and I go, you know what the problem is, don't you? And she said, yes, she needs a bigger closet. That's Randy for me when I was at the 280. He brought the, you're going to get me too. I got allergies. Sit on this side of the room next time. He brought that other viewpoint always. He didn't all, I don't think Randy thinks she needs a bigger closet. But he would have brought that viewpoint to the meeting, to the table. He was always in touch with the faces that I see. And he brought that into my office always and made sure that I was in touch with the faces that I see. He, mission first, people always. Randy learned the people are the mission. So, Chief, we really appreciate you. I know I do. I got a little something for you. I was wondering what to get, and I knew you were such an Auburn fan, so I got a picture that you can hang in your favorite spot. It's got War Eagle coach in Albany. Get a picture of that. Touch that.
That looks like one of their championships.
Actually got Nick there. Signed you.
Best boss ever had.
All right, Colonel Eric Good.
Best boss ever had.
Hey guys, it's great to be back with you. You know, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. Randy is a chief, is one of those guys, and there's many of them in the room here today, that makes the 280th such a special place. This really is about family, and I've been a lot of places, and I'm telling you, you guys are in the right place. This is the best place to ever work, and if you ever go anywhere else, you'll realize that. And it's because of people like Chief Green. I had the honor to work with him back in 1985. I was an Airman Basic that come back, and Randy, were you in a crypto shop? Or Teletype maintenance. Randy was one of those guys that just naturally you're attracted to, you just want to be around him. He's just a good person. And it was an honor to work with you back when I was just a fellow airman together. And it was an honor to work with you when I had an opportunity to come back and be the commander there. And Randy is one of those guys that just gives you that perspective of what life is really all about and what's important. And one of the biggest things that helps the morale is the ability to go places and do things and plan fun things, get the job done, but also have fun. And that was Chief Green. Chief Green would be working the next exercise as this one was wrapping up. He'd create the name of the exercise. I bet he could tell you all kinds of exercises. He just made them up. And then I'd get phone calls, or he'd get phone calls, and people from outside the organization would want to come and be a part of the 280th and go on the trips, the great trips. It's because of him. And it's because of a lot of the people that are in this room here today. So I encourage you to continue the legacy. He can't be replaced, but I know we can step up and continue on the legacy that we have. So, Chief, I got a little something for you that I wanted to give you. This is handmade, and it's an American flag, and it's got coin holders here. I figure you got a few coins. So you can lay this out on the wall. And it says something here that I think is really apropos. It says, "Thank you for your dedicated service to America and the airmen of the 280th. It's a better place because of you." And I want to give that to you right there. I got my A6 coin. I'd like for it to be one of the coins that go on the deal right there. So I'm going to just hand that to you right there. We'll put this over here.
At this time, we would like to offer the opportunity for anyone else in attendance to make a presentation or say a few words.
Good try.
I'm not going to say a whole lot of words, but on behalf of the RF shop, we would like to present you and to say thank you for your contributions in our shop and our careers with this official Chief's Tomahawk.
Not going to say a whole lot of words here. I could. All the trips we took, Randy was always a part of. One of the main things that I remember about Randy is the first time I'd ever been on AT. So we're going to Japan. We get there. 9 hours to Hawaii, then 9 hours to Japan on an airplane. We get off and it's 9 o'clock. We have to go get rooms. Well, I was an A1C, so I'm kind of at the bottom of the list to get rooms. Nobody else was in there by the time I got a room. It was 1 p.m. There was one NCO that made sure that everyone got a room that night. That was Randy. That stuck in my mind for my whole career. And just wanted to.
It's good.
Hey.
Anyone else?
All right. Just a moment, if you don't mind. I don't have a fancy gift for you, but hopefully you'll forgive me that. So I hadn't planned to say anything, but I can't pass out the open opportunity here. As my dad, Chief Scott there mentioned, my mom was pregnant when he joined the 280th, and one of the people that's been around the whole time I've been around the 280th, which is literally my entire life at this point, has been Randy. So there's a handful of people that have been there for a long time. A lot of them are sitting over on this side of the room right now that I consider mentors and helped raise me, helped shape my understanding of what the military service should be. As you can see, I, made the decision. Hanging out with guard guys, you think I'd be smart enough to go guard. I wasn't. I'm an active duty. Maybe one day I'll wise up. But yeah, absolutely influenced by these guys and my thought process and the way that I treat people and I lead. I hope emulates just a little bit of what I've learned from these guys over the years. So, Randy, you've been a huge part of my life again for my entire life from the beginning there, and your dedication to the people and the mission and everything has been a exemplar for me, and something that I've tried to learn from and pattern myself off of. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
So many of them don't know me. I'm Chief Hollinger, the Command Chief for the 187 Fighter Wing, and also doing dual duty as the State Command Chief also. I've enjoyed working with you these past 2 years. I've done my best to try to make us one unit, one wing, or whatever, and get down here as much as I can. But I can tell you, with all the presentations you've had so far, the people were most important. And I try to teach all the chiefs and I want everybody to know the people are the mission. You cannot do it without the people, so you must take care of your people. And clearly, Chief, you've done that. And thank you so much for all the support you've given me. And my daughter looked at your picture on that paper and said, he's such a nice person. I said, what makes you say that? He just has that face. And I told her, he is. But I bet you one thing, he's probably tough when he needs to be. And that's a chief. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we'll try to be brief, but Randy, what's my point, Randy? I look around and it's good to be back as well, and I'm proud to be standing up here with you, Chief. I didn't start as early as some of my esteemed colleagues over here and mentors, but I did. I think I first met you in '94, '95, and I too was an airman basic. So throughout those years, and then once I got my commission, was able to work with you even further, whether that's in the planning capacity or actually going out to the field on different missions and so forth. And we had a lot of great adventures. The reason I bring all this stuff up is all of you, I know everybody that's wearing any type of officer rank in this room, we've all learned from you. You've been a mentor, and you trained us. Of course, we spread our wings and on throughout the state, throughout the Southeast, throughout the country on different tours, representing and taking the lessons we've learned that you helped instill on us. And we took them out, and hopefully represented your teaching as well. So we got a couple gifts for you, but Chief, did you want to say a few things?
Yeah, Randy, just from the enlisted portion, 230 seconds, thanks for everything. We talked about your 40 years. I didn't know that until last year. Remember, we were up in North Alabama, and the command chief mentioned it. And that just, I can't tell you how many times this year, because there's been about 7 of these retirements in the last year or so, about 3 more to come. And we've seen a lot of 32, 34, saw 37 and a half years. I can't tell you how many times last year I said, yeah, Randy, he's going to get 40. And that's, I mean, it's only slightly more than half of my career. But I know you made an impact on these guys, because I know you did on me. When I first started as a technician in the early 2000s, if there was ever a question about the 280th, call Randy. Who do we need to talk to? Who is our POC? Where is this exercise at? Where do we want to go? The answer was always, call Randy. We're speaking to the right guy. So thank you from the enlisted force for 30 seconds. And from me. Thanks for everything.
So this is a personal gift. Once again, thank you for all your work over the years. And Chief Scott stole one of my phrases I was going to use, but thank you for bringing it up. So if you ever went out on an exercise with Chief here, whenever there's an issue or problem or whatever it may be, sometimes you look around and you're talking with him, hey, we need to fix this, we need to work on this, whatever it is. And Randy would give you advice, and he's like, okay, let's go do that, or let's do that. And he'll go do it. He's a busy bee. It's all everywhere, okay, at once. And as Chief Scott mentioned, there'd be often times when you're in the tent somewhere or a Connex or whatever it may be, and you turn around and he's gone. And you're like, where'd he go? And that's part of the reason why he earned one of the nicknames, Ninja. Okay? So Chief, Randy, we got you this little gift. It's not much. We hope you can enjoy it during your retirement. But Cyber Ninja, Chief Green, 280th, and then inside.
Nice. Very nice. Anyone else?
We'll do one more. Go ahead. Come on, you can go ahead.
So, some of you guys know me. I'm Senior Master Control from the 919th. I am one of those guys who the 280th has always invited, whether it's summer camp or certain type of training. My first deployment was with Chief Scott and Chief Chambliss over at IED, and it's a pleasure to see you guys. I hope to catch up with you back at the squadron. But two things about Chief Green. You guys already know the first one. This man loves karaoke, and so does Chief Green. So every summer camp, we know that there's going to be karaoke planned. But the other thing is, this guy's a man of the routine. So I had the pleasure of being deployed with Chief Green in 2019, and I showed up at the deed, and this guy has a schedule. He eats and he works out and everything at the exact same time. I showed up, I was going to Iraq, so I got to spend a few days with him, but I wanted to eat dinner after getting there after flying. So he broke his schedule to take me to the chow hall and the hospitality, just like it always is here at the 280th. It was with me there, and for that I'm greatly appreciative. So I have a coin that hopefully will go in your flag right there.
All right, Chief. That's why he's a chief. I'm Troy Morgan, so I'm from 226 Combat Comm Group. Chief, I was a little disappointed with your reaction to Scott's gift there. I thought I'd see a bigger smile on your face, but with Pat and I, and we'll all be over there. So I'm one of the full-time supervisors up there at the 226. Chief, I just want to thank you for all the support you provided to the 280th, but also to the 226. I know when Captain Brown was deployed last year that I all of a sudden had Chief Green on my speed dial. I'm sure he was very disappointed to see my number pop up after the first week or two, because I was calling him a good bit, asking him status updates on whatever it may be associated with the 280th. And Chief, you were always supportive. Chief was one of those guys that I would call, and I don't run across very many of them in my career, but what I call a silent warrior. One of those guys that does the job, doesn't complain, you never hear anything bad, you never hear any complaints out of him. He just gets the job done. And he gets the job done right. And I've run across very few in my career, but you are definitely one of those, Chief. And thank you for your 40 years of service. Family, thank you for your 40 years of service as well. Because we know that a member doesn't serve alone. We all serve together. So Chief, so newly minted coin from the 226 Combat Comm Group. It's the first one ever given out. Chief, thank you so much for all your service.
Of course, I've known Chief for the last 17 years, so this is more of a selfish thing. I'm up here. I had the great honor 5 days ago to be the first person to call him Mr. Green. Enjoyed it ever since, but of course it's still Chief today. For those who may not know this, is I was trained to be actually Chief Green's replacement in a very small area that most people don't realize. And I had the great honor of removing this man from the KMI system the other day. A great privilege of mine. Very few people in here probably appreciates that. But I know that's one responsibility that we just got through with his an inspection. And he knows he's leaving here with a clean slate. And we're starting over. And you know, I think he agrees that hopefully he's being left in good hands. But I've been full-time now for 8 years. I've spent a lot of really quality time, especially with RW Squared. And my gift I don't have here today, but it will be enjoyed here in the next coming weeks before you leave. And I want to say that it's been a great pleasure to serve with you, and congratulations.
So I'm Chris Brown. I'm the detachment commander of the 280th. I've got a gift for Chief Green from the full-time staff, but it is not here yet. The office that makes those has been closed, so we had to find another source. It's almost done, so we'll present that from the full-time staff later. Some more to come on that. I joined the full-time team almost exactly this time of year 6 years ago. I've had some awesome bosses since I've been there. But the continuity for me has been Chief Green. As a newly minted officer, I showed up fresh out of training, got the full-time job actually before I graduated from that training. So when I say I came into this green, no pun intended. I came into this really green. And if it hadn't been for Chief Green, I'm sure I would have driven it straight into a brick wall. So Chief Green, everybody has already said it, he is as solid as a rock. He epitomizes the people always ideology that we live by. I have always been able to count on him. If I have an idea, something that I want to implement for the squadron, but I don't know if it's going to be good for the people, which is always the most important question to ask before we do anything. I've always known I can go into Chief Green's office, run the idea behind him, and know that he's going to have my back because I know he's got the backs of my full-time staff and the rest of the unit. He would not ever let me do anything that he felt would jeopardize the well-being of the people. So I just wanted to tell you, I cannot put into words how thankful I am that when I came into this role, I had you there as a mentor and as a co-worker and just someone to help me make sure that this has all been successful. I wouldn't want to imagine a life that involved this job without involvement. So thank you so much.
If there's no one else, we're going to move right along, but I would like to tell you, you are by far one of the most approachable chiefs I have ever met in my life. And at the end of the day, we're always going to be approaching you from behind because you are the fastest man I have ever met. So thank you for leading from the front. We'll now say a few words.
Literally everything on my mental checklist got checked off. Not much, but as I was sitting there, I was looking around thinking, Chief Green, man, you did an awesome job raising all these kids. For all of us who know Chief Green, sometimes you feel like a kid because his wealth of knowledge and kind of who he is, right? So, and that includes everybody in this room, enlisted officers. So, great job raising the kids. I think everybody can agree. Since everything was checked out, just a personal note. Chief and I have solved almost every world problem there is to solve in his office. A lot of good, long conversations. We have a lot of the same thought processes, which is good. And if you ever need let down or you need to have somebody tell you you're doing something wrong, have the chief do it because he can tell you you're screwing up in such a nice and succinct and calm manner that you don't even really know you're screwing up. But if we had more time, maybe I'd call his sister up to say a few bad things about him. But because all we got is good, so if there's a few bad things, you'd be the only one to know, I'm guessing. Anyway, that's really all I had. Everybody just said it so well that I can't go on from there. So I'll take a seat and I'll let the chief have the floor.
First, the smartest thing I'm going to say today is I'm going to thank my wife. She's been behind me a lot of years. Every time I went to TDY or deployed, she was always there. I didn't have to worry about home stuff, which is always good because it helped me focus on the mission at hand. So thank you, Sharon. I want to thank everybody else that came down. I know some of you flew in, some of you drove in, some of you took the train. So I appreciate that. I want to thank my mom for having me. Her and my dad they came up with a good structured framework. I always knew I was going to have a place to sleep. I always knew they were going to get up and go to work. And I always knew we were going to have fried chicken for supper. I want to thank my brother and sister for taking care of my mom whenever I was deployed, my dad, watching out for him. I just want to clarify to Chris, Angela's the one that told us that you were adopted when you were 9. She's the one that told you to jump on the back of that pig. We didn't know it was going to run under the trailer with him on. Everybody's always talking about my work ethic, stuff like that. I'm going to illustrate 3 short stories for y'all. I know I got to keep y'all here long enough not to do another chem warfare class. When I was 16, Mom worked at the Welsh Company of the South. They made doll buggies and doll strollers, baby strollers, up in Union Springs, Alabama. This is the late 70s. I was 16, I think. They had a program where you come in as a temp employee during the summer, and the parents would bring all their kids up there and teach them how to work. So, anyway, it's an assembly line. Basically, what I learned from working here is assembly lines, no joke. If you start getting behind, you got to rely on your teammates to help you catch back up. Because in a factory, if a line stops, that's the worst thing in the world. The company's not making any money. So if you can't keep that line going, they can find somebody that will. Second thing I learned here, they had a time clock. You had to punch in every morning. You had from 6:52 to 6:58 to get clocked in. Because at 7 o'clock, you better be at that line. So I learned to always be on time and to be ready to work when I got to work. All right. So, next story, egg farm. Has anybody here ever worked on a chicken farm for any long period of time? All right. So, late 70s, it's hot. These chicken houses are 500 feet long, 100 feet wide. And it's hot in Alabama. They got these big fans that move air. We didn't have AC like they do today in the chicken house. So it was always dusty, it was always hot. You got 500 feet of chickens, chicken feeding machinery, and chicken crack. Another thing, because of the egg laying houses, just doing the chicken houses, they basically, the chickens will lay eggs. They took them to another house, another place, and that's where your baby chickens come from. Egg, chicken thing. So, to do this, to have a viable egg, you gotta have roosters. And I don't know if anybody's had a lot of dealing with roosters. There's 12 to 1,500 in these chicken houses. They got a lot of fighting. They got a little spur on their hind toenail. Basically, they'll try to spur you with them. I don't know why. You're 10 times their size. So basically, you'll be going down the house as fast as you can. You'll be picking up eggs in these chicken nests. And the chicken houses are loud. Chickens are noisy birds, but somehow you hear this rooster coming. Good job. You better turn around quick and kick him 10, 12 feet before he gets to you. Now, when this happens, 2 things are going to happen. One,
every rooster in the vicinity is either going to jump on that bird or they're going to jump on you. You can spend a couple minutes fighting off roosters and get back to work. Another thing is chickens are flighty birds. Once a ruckus starts, all the chickens, all the hens will start flying around. You got dust flying everywhere, and sadly, when chickens start flying, a lot of them will start cracking. So, again, the big box fan, what I learned here is when the crap starts flying, you stand at the side of the big box fan. The other thing was that roosters, much like a senior NCO or some officers, you don't want them standing behind you for too long. Working in a mayonnaise plant. Anybody here worked in a mayonnaise plant? Right. I worked in one for like 7 years. And I ran a machine, made 32,000 pounds of mayonnaise an hour. That's a lot of mayonnaise. So anyway, it's a production environment again. You got 6, 7 people on the line. Basically, my job is a mixer. I made the mayonnaise, and I helped everybody on the line. Teamwork again. Well, the product, mayonnaise flew through these big steel pipes, and they're every 3 foot there's a clamp. So basically, if you don't, because there's so much pressure on the lines, you better constantly check those clamps, because otherwise, when it comes loose, and if you're anywhere near it, you're going to have 3 inches of mayonnaise popping the bottom, and the line's going to stop, and you're doing bad stuff there. So I learned to check my work. Last thing I learned there was sometimes management don't have the same viewpoint of your abilities as you do. So basically, a supervisor position came open, and I knew everything online. So I applied for it, and a couple weeks later, they hired somebody from outside the plant. So I could have got mad right then, but I waited until later. When the guy they hired came in, they told me I had to train him, so I trained him, and then I quit. But I quit the wrong matter. I mean, the wrong way. What you should do is either you plan ahead. I learned how to plan ahead here because I had a rough couple of weeks because I didn't plan ahead to get another job. So enough of that. I want to talk to my people here, the ones I'm leaving behind. I want you to make sure when you come to drill, you're taking every opportunity to get trained, the training we give you. If you don't feel like you're getting enough training, you talk to your leadership and go from there. At least try. I think it's easier. I mean, it was easier back in the day because when we had the old inspection system, it's kind of like a sine wave. The unit, we'd be here in the valley, and we could see an inspection on the calendar a year and a half off. So we could start pulling out the regs, and we'd start, dotting all the T's and I's, and we'd climb the hill. And then when the inspection got here, we were on top, right? And then after the inspection over, we did outstanding. That's what we did. We'd start going down the hill, and we'd rest a little bit, but then we'd see a UCI coming. So same thing, we'd start climbing that hill again. Now we're kind of expected to be up here all the time, and it can be hard. So all I can say there is try the best you can, and trust in management, and make it easy on them with their promotion system. It took me 12 years to make tech, 20 to make master, 27 to make senior, and 36 to make chief. So anytime somebody came to me complaining about not getting promoted, I said, okay. But make it easy on them anyway. Do your PME and get everything else you need done. I think that's all I got to say. Appreciate it.
Ms. Green, please join your husband and the commander. Please remain standing for the reading of the retirement order and presentation of the certificate of retirement.
Post the order.
Attention to order. Chief Master Sergeant Randy O. Green is relieved from assignment with the 280th Special Operations Communications Squadron, honorably discharged from the Alabama Air National Guard effective 5 April 2021, and assigned to the United States Air Force Reserve retired list effective 6 April 2021. Please remain standing for the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. You are invited to say and congratulate Chief Master Sergeant Green on this momentous occasion and enjoy the refreshments provided at the Dothan Regional Airport Air National Guard Station multi-purpose room. This concludes the retirement ceremony.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you so much.
I never realized how much he paid.
Long time no see. How you doing? All right. Enjoying your retirement too? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Status meetings on Friday. I'm enjoying the chaos that I'm part of the
Did he get in the way of your video too much?
Two people did.
Really?
Yeah. Every time y'all stood, first row, like middle seat, kept stepping into the aisle.
That's why I was worried. I was like, oh man, the video. Oh yeah, that's the news, I think.
I've been confused why the news is here the entire time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. But yeah, I bet you got a good video too. That'll be nice to look at. Are you gonna video at the unit much or?
Probably.
How about you? Good. All right, we'll see you at the unit then.